I first understood the meaning of the word sectarian on the 8th of May 2006, when a boy was chased down, attacked, and killed in my town for wearing a certain football shirt. I first understood the meaning of the word heartbreak 6 weeks after my 9th birthday when my father died. I first understood the meaning of the word terror when, after an attack at Jerusalem Gay Pride in 2015, one of my fellow marchers didn't make it home. Each of these events are key aspects of my identity, my story, and they explain how I make sense of the world. And although each of these individual words are used in political discourse, they are also key aspects of my identity. You see, I'm talking about stories here and my story because stories are incredibly important to us as human beings. Human beings are really storytelling, story-making creatures. I bet even today, as you're waiting for this event to start or eating the donuts, you found yourself exchanging stories with those around you. Stories teach us right from wrong by giving us a simple, black and white framework that there will always be a hero, a villain, and a happy ending. That's why when we're little, authority figures like our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, they place such importance on story time. And as we get older, this story time evolves with us. It changes from fairy tales to social media and the news media. But we still use the simple black and white framework of hero and villain to differentiate between real news and fake news. But I'm here to tell you that to continue to view the world in these black and white terms, to always look for hero and villain, is dangerous. It has created ideological, mental, and emotional barriers between groups. And in some cases, it has justified physical walls. Let me demonstrate how this is done. Put your hand up if you've ever unfollowed, unfriended, or blocked someone on social media because you don't want to see their views on your timeline. Yeah, a lot of us have done it, and we're not the only ones. In fact, in 2016, just 31% of social media users believe that they interacted with diverse views online. But why is this? Why are we so afraid of listening to the other side? Because really, that's what this is about. It's about fear. It's about fear of challenging our simplistic black and white view of the world. It's about fear that the people we perceive to be villains aren't really villains after all. The people we perceive to be heroes in our own stories aren't really heroic after all. And yeah, I know, I hear you. We can blame social media networks themselves and algorithms all we want. But at the end of the day, we're the ones clicking on the links we want to click on. We are consuming the information we want to consume. And often, it means that voices that need to be heard are neglected. And so to properly demonstrate this to you, I want to tell you all a story. A story about an area of the world that is defined by barriers and walls, and also happens to be one of my favorite parts of the world. I'm talking about Jerusalem. I took this picture this summer, just a few kilometers beyond the walls and barriers of Jerusalem in the West Bank. I spent the evening with this Palestinian family, drinking Arabic coffee and looking at the stars. In this picture, you can see some Palestinian women harvesting sage leaves for tea against the glow of an Israeli settlement. Black and white, hero and villain. I was taken there by a mutual friend who's a member of this Israeli settlement. We were driving around and conducting interviews when his friends, this Palestinian family, stopped the car and insisted that we join them. We sat together, we exchanged stories, we laughed. Everyone made fun of me for only being able to speak English as I expertly navigated between Arabic and Hebrew. And they, as much as I tried, they didn't quite understand when I tried to explain to them that my 14 years of education in Northern Ireland, Arabic and Hebrew didn't make the curriculum. And we sat together and we worked. A Northern Irish girl who sometimes lives in Scotland, and an Israeli settler in the West Bank who is originally from Minnesota, and a Palestinian family from the West Bank. We worked together so that these Palestinians could get permits to visit a friend in an Israeli hospital. And you see, in theory, this evening shouldn't have happened. In theory, this photo shouldn't exist. And to be completely honest with you, my life would be a lot easier if I didn't know this had happened. If I just continued to live my life aligning my views with the accepted black and white narrative that one side in Jerusalem was the hero and the other the villain. But that's not reality. This is reality. Reality is a lot more complex than simply hero, villain, happy ending. Reality is made up of a lot more colours than simply black and white. And I'm trying to not be too idealistic here. Physical, ideological, mental, emotional walls and barriers, they are simply a product of human interaction, and they may always exist. But what I am trying to say is, if we took time to understand ourselves, our own stories, and how our stories contribute to our view of the world, and then took time to understand the stories of those who disagree with us, yeah, we may never tear down these walls and barriers, but maybe we can build a window so that we can truly look into the other side and begin to understand the other. Thank you.